So welcome all to our Fortune Builders Florida Gulf area, and then beyond meetup for August 2022. If you don't already know me, my name is Laura Caruso. I'm very thankful to have you here. This is a meetup that's actually been going on now for 3 years, crazy enough. Initially, it started at this little wine bar that I used to work at, and there was only 5 of us on the first meetup, and it was all local people. And then over time, it built in person, and then COVID kind of threw a wrench into everything. And as I was just sharing before this recording started, it kind of brought us this unique aspect of being able to do this with not just people in the area, but people that are in other parts of the state, other parts of the country. And so it just gives us an avenue to basically really connect with each other in a lot of different ways, which is cool. And tonight, what I really wanted to focus on, because we are in a interesting time and dynamic of real estate, to do this as kind of just a town hall roundtable. Usually we have somebody that speaks and does a direct topic. Tonight, though, we're gonna go around. Everybody can, introduce themselves and share what they're doing or what they're seeing in their market. If you're not in, the direct local market or in the local market, everybody kind of has their different perspective at the moment. And if there's anything that we can do to help each other, or if there's any deals specifically you're working on, or if you are looking for private funds, if you're looking for contractors or whatever, how can we help each other? That's going to be the focus of this meetup. And so that's where I'm going to start, is with that and kind of let it go for whoever wants to start and talk. And then again, like I said, it's just going to be kind of a roundtable chat. So feel free to jump in whenever.
Well, Larry had a question in the very beginning. And if he doesn't want to go, I'll be more than happy to.
Sure, I can go. You want me to go to the host bill, Laura, or just ask my question?
You can introduce yourself. There's some new people in here that don't know you, Larry.
Fine. Larry Prince. I am actually in South Florida, but I do new construction up in the Tampa area, Hernando County, mainly. So I'm hoping to do some more fix and flips down here in Delray Beach, where I'm moving to in a couple of weeks. So that should be fun. I do want to ask one thing and volunteer another. If anybody has any Airbnbs available that they might be able to let me borrow or use for beginning of September. We have one of our homes was supposed to be finished by August 31st, but apparently there's a materials shortage for AC equipment up there. So we're being delayed a couple of weeks. So the home that sold, the buyers don't have a place to stay after August 31st. So I'm trying to help them out by finding a place to stay. So if somebody has any Airbnbs available that's up north of Tampa, that would be great. Hernando County would be better, but just to try and find something for them. And then Laura, if you want, one of the homes should be available. If you guys want to go to Brooksville.
I would love to take a road trip to Brooksville and see what you're doing up there. That'd be awesome. And construction, what have you found with the new construction? Are I know that you have that one that's already closing. The other ones what are you seeing material price wise? What are you seeing as far as interest in the new constructions that you're doing?
I'm not up to date on material cost wise yet. My GC is still handling most of that. I'll see it more on our third house, because that one's going to be cost plus. So I'll actually get the actual cost of materials and labor and all that stuff before we pay that bill. Interest is now picking up again. It kind of died off that couple of months when the interest rates went up. My realtor has been showing it. I think she's had at least 5 showings this last week or so. So it's picking up, and especially now that they're closer to being done. There's hopefully drywall will be up here soon, and that kind of helps too. But when there was just nothing but a shell there, it was hard for people to imagine what the house looks like.
Confused mind definitely cannot make a decision. That is one of the quotes that I live and die by, because it's true. People, when they do look at, with the drywall does make a difference, where they can actually see and envision where their living room and where their couch is going to be and their TV.
Yes, exactly. So with the framing up, it helps too. The framing and the roof being dried in and stuff, that looks too. And it's more volume in there than I had expected. So it's shocking how open that house is. So I'll be glad to have post next month.
So you have how many houses up there?
3 are under construction right now, but I have 6 in the pipeline. 2 are waiting for the finals from my architect to get the plans so we can submit permits. They're in Hernando Beach. So those 2 are underwater. And then I have another one that I'm closing in September, but I intentionally made the close be 4 or 5 months so that I had time to get these going and I could work on getting the permits and the plans done for that 6th house. So kind of took advantage of that.
What's your price point of these houses?
The 200 Nano Beach are in the low 600s. 730 is the one that we would go look at next month. And then the 3rd one in that development, we're trying to get about 1.1, 1.2 million. It's 4,400 square feet. But that's something we can talk about because right now I'm in a fight with the hard money lender on the value of the property because it's a lower level and a main level, and they're trying to classify my lower level as a basement. And the lot is sloped, so it is not below grade. So we're in a little fight right now because it definitely brings down the value of the home.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Does anybody have or I mean, what do you need?
Well, I wonder if
Be helpful for
if
this
we
group.
could-
Go ahead, John.
connect him with Jason's got Airbnbs in Tampa. Jason Matthews. Maybe we can
Yeah.
connect with Jason. I mean, we're going into the supposed slow time for Airbnbs, so I'm sure people that own them would potentially have openings and welcome some traffic.
Yeah, we can connect you, Larry, to somebody we know that has several. He's a short-term rental. That's what he does, and he has them in definitely Hillsborough. Not probably as far as Hernando, but I don't know. Maybe he does.
Okay.
He would
That'd
help
be great.
there. Is there anything else anybody else wants to ask, or is there anything you need from or be helpful from this group? Harry.
Hey, I'll go.
Bob,
Yeah.
Mr. Kane's ready to roll.
Yeah. So perfect segue for all the stuff that you had mentioned in the beginning. So I got put in an offer last week through Sunday. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's a platform. Basically, they're a brokerage and they have turnkey properties that may or may not need any type of repairs. That being said, you're not allowed to do an inspection, but they provide an inspection report. There's no walkthrough till the day of closing. So it's kind of like questionable, but it's a guaranteed clear title. And the property is vacant when you get the property. They're allowed to leave whatever they want in the house, but for the most part, the houses are in decent shape. That being said, I got my PML, Easy Street. They can turn around in 48 hours if need be. The rates are expensive. They hit you with points being the first time. So I'm getting a little bit smacked in the pee-pee, but life goes on. My biggest thing that I'm looking at is that I'm curious about. Oh, and they'll coordinate the insurance for me, which I'm curious about that. I got to talk to the lender about that tomorrow. Some of the big things that I'm looking at, obviously insurance was number one. Second was what type of security systems do you guys use when you have your rehabs? Because it's going to be a light rehab, nothing spectacular. I already have a contractor that I'm working with, but he has the connections of the specific type of people that we may need, which i.e. air conditioning or plumbing, stuff like that. But for the most part, it's a turnkey property that I believe that I did very well. It's over by the casino here off of I-4, Hard Rock. But it's on the other side of I-4 in the not so good neighborhood. However, both sides of the street have multiple homes that have been rehabbed. So I'm already ahead on that piece. My first question is the security. The second would be setting up the actual Airbnb, VRBO, Vacasa sites and all that other stuff
Mhm.
once it's ready to go. And that's just the beginning points. Was that too much?
No, it's not too much. I'm gonna let, I don't know, somebody else in the group jump in on the security because I don't really have an answer to that for.
I mean, we I could just say what, we used Ring.
But that's not
So-
during construction.
Yeah, I would say for, for our short-term rental properties as a longer term solution.
My biggest concern is in the meantime, because nobody's going to be in there for like, say, 60 days, give or take. Should I go with like a long-term evolution type, something that works off of the cell towers, or get the Wi-Fi installed and work off of a Wi-Fi system? Either one's going to need a battery backup regardless because of the way the weather is here. And if the power goes out, I want to have a battery backup. If I have a battery backup that goes to the Wi-Fi, it'll continue to run as long as it's on the ups. Same thing with the LTE, but the LTE, even after the power goes out completely and the battery dies in an ups unit, the battery that's in the unit will stay going until that battery dies. So there's a couple different checks in the boxes that I'm looking at.
I'm gonna defer to, I don't have an answer to that, so I'm gonna, if anybody else does.
Who's a techie nerd? Aldo, he's a techie nerd.
Yeah, he's just jumping on here, so he might not even know the question. I just sent him the link.
Actually, I need to pick his brain because I need to talk with Keith too.
Oh yeah, Aldo might know. Yeah, I don't know. Anybody use security during construction that they can give Bob a good recommendation of who you would use?
All right, cool.
I would say Mr. Rehab himself asked Mr. Boge, but Mr. Boge is his own security camera because he's at his properties all the time. So
Yeah, that's my biggest concern is I'll be going in and out, and then on the weekends I'll be there, and it's not
What was your
far.
question?
Security system to put into a house that's being rehabbed. Do you use like the cellular type or Wi-Fi type?
I use the cellular type. I mean, Blink or Ring. That's been good enough for me.
Okay.
Oh, that is true. I mean, I use Blink at my own house. Like inside the house, it's cheap. It's easy to set up. I can monitor my kids, make sure they're not misbehaving when I'm not here. So
Okay.
Blink is a good option. That's a good call, Aldo.
Yeah, I use those for my short-term rentals too. And the battery lasts for a long time too.
If the power does go out.
The battery lasts for a while.
Okay.
Just got to make sure you have Wi-Fi though.
Okay, doke.
And then as far as your answer, so the other question was about once you get a short-term rental set up, what was that question again?
Oh, rolling over like new banking to get away from the hard money lender.
So conventional financing, basically.
Yeah. Because like right now it's basically the hard money lender is doing conventional financing at the moment, but I'm figuring if I hold on to that with, the 12-month turnaround, even though I don't want it to be 12 months, something that's not going to crush me doing the refi. Because I'll already be well below, because I can't get a wind mitigation because I can't get into the property. So you need that in order to get the insurance. So once the repairs are done on the house and getting it ready to go, I want to be able to do an inspection, get the wind mitigation, refi it, and it'll already be above the value that I bought it at, more than, it'll have the conventional value. So if I refi it at X dollars and pull some money back out, I'll be able to go to another banking. If I pull money out, I probably won't, because it'll keep the balance.
And this is going to be a short-term rental, correct? This is the same.
Yes, that's my intention. I got 5 exit strategies, so like I'm keeping all my options open.
Well, this is a great question for the people that are on here. And to your point, doing short-term rental, I mean, what our experience has been, and John can speak more to this because he's handled, my husband, John, the financing part of our 2 short-term rentals. It's definitely an interesting process, and not the 2 banks that he's worked with. I mean, he can speak more to this. Hasn't been an easy process as far as getting that type of financing. So I don't know what everybody else has done, and maybe you can put some insight here to the bank, or where you've gone with this, and have you presented it to the bank as a short-term rental, or have you been answering those questions?
Yeah, so Bob, I'll chime in because I've done this. First of all, you're not gonna find many banks that are gonna lend on short-term rentals. So it's not gonna be when you go get financing, is not gonna be, you're not doing a short-term rental, you're doing a long-term rental. You know,
Understood.
you're gonna do a fake lease, you know, and
Yeah.
so you'll get a lease in place, you know. I'll be your tenant if you want.
I love it.
You know, and so like you're gonna be a long-term, you're gonna rent it out as a long-term tenant because you're not gonna be able, you know, and once you get the loan in place, the conventional loans, they don't care. The bank's not gonna come in like do inspections and make sure that you're not doing a short-term rental on it. You know, they just want to make sure that they just want
Yeah,
to know
because
that you're paying the mortgage on
the
time.
one lender that I was starting to go through was Finance of America. I don't know if you're familiar with them, Laura. They're over in Safety Harbor. But anyway, they wanted a wind mitigation and not being able to get into the property. I can't provide that. So, and they couldn't make the turnaround by the end of the month. That was the other thing.
Why can't you
Yeah.
get into the property to do a wind mitigation?
So you missed the beginning part. So I'm going through the brokerage platform called Sunday, and they don't allow you into the property, but they provide the home inspection report and the disclosures and all that other crap. Pictures, the walkthrough, the Matterhorn, all that stuff. And the house looks good. I mean, it's just a little bit overgrown on the exterior and simple little things, light fixtures and trash like that. So
Why wouldn't they let you go in?
because the current owner is in the home, and
Okay.
the day prior, they go through and validate that they have all their stuff out that they want out, and they're vacant the day of closing.
What year's the house built?
59 block
Mm,
by the casino.
okay. I mean, I would want to walk through that before closing for that age of a home. But if you think you're getting a good deal, you know, go for it. You know, me personally, I would want to walk through the house
Right.
for that year. It was built in 2000 or 1990. I would be like, all right, you know, you
We
walk
can
through it,
work
like,
with
yeah,
this.
work with that. 1959. That's a long time ago.
It
So
is
what
a
are you
little bit
saying,
of
man?
time ago.
It's only 11 more years older than me.
That's all.
Yeah, right. Ha ha
That's
ha.
all. But that's a good point to I love that you explained your financing, Aldo, because that's not what we did with our short-term rentals, and it was a pain to find lenders, and then they won't lock anything in, and it becomes the rate just increases. It's a high rate for short-term rental. Then their insurance requirements are kind of ridiculous, in my opinion. John, do you want to chime in on with the short-term rental aspect of the loan and insurance?
Yeah, it was shitty process. We used we used the local broker for one of ours, and that ended up being a little bit of a nightmare. And then secondly, we went with one of the branded short-term rental lending agencies called Vizio. And there's Vizio and there's one other one, I forget the name of the other one, that is the traditional, they do short-term rental loans.
I think it's Host Financial.
It might be, yeah, anyway, yeah, so it might have been Host, yeah. So what really hurt us was Vizio would not lock the rate until like a week before closing. And this was during a time when rates were just being jacked up every meeting. So, both of our short-term rental loans have prepayment penalties, which, I'm not a huge fan of, but obviously if you made them get rid of that, the rate was going to go even higher. So yeah, I don't have a good referral for who to look for. Probably follow Aldo's advice and just pose it as a long-term rental, get a traditional financing, and go from there.
Okay, I'll talk to one of the guys that I've dealt with before with previous home loans who's very savvy, but he's in Chicago. So if I get more information, I'll let you guys know. It's an easy win.
Yeah, for
And,
sure.
and traditionally, like what I've learned, at least even through fortune builders, that your local credit unions will probably be able to offer the best rates for conventional finance. So I would shop around with whoever the local credit union might be in your Tampa area.
Do you have to be like, do you have to have an account with them in order to get a loan with credit unions?
Yeah, you do, but I think you have to like probably just open up a quick account. Like I did, I just opened up a credit union with San Diego Credit Union. And it was like, okay, just deposit $1 and we'll open an account for you and then we'll see what we can get you. Like, okay, here's my $1.
Yeah, there you go. There you can have that. Now I'm an official with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's good to know. And so how many of these have you done? You just with the long-term rental strategy as far as opening doing the mortgage and the whole thing under just long-term. Do you have a couple of those that you've done? Are they through credit union?
I've done it. Well, yeah, I've done 2, and then I have one with which I just went through. The one right now that we're working on is going to be through my traditional with a mortgage broker.
Okay.
And so like that one we're still building out. We're doing an addition. We're building an accessory dwelling unit, which is in Florida is called an efficiency unit. So we're here in LA. And so like with that one's going to be the exact same thing I did in Florida. With Florida, like the one I had in St. Petersburg, remodeled it, refinanced, and put in like a traditional loan on it. And we got a conventional financing on it, once the rehab was done, pulled out some cash, and then had it running for a few years. Did the same thing here in San Diego, and now doing one in LA. Same model,
Yeah.
I just converted into a short-term rental.
Cool. Well, I appreciate that insight and that advice. Bob, did you have any other questions on your property, or did you have anything else? I know you said you had a few more.
Yeah, if Aldo work with me, man, you can flip my house.
What do you need help with?
It's the first one, so I'm probably going to be asking a bazillion questions over the next 3 weeks. So more to follow.
Once you get it rolling, you'll be good. Just getting it rolling, right? Anybody else want to jump in and like share what they're doing or what potentially focusing on in this market, or things that you're experiencing change wise?
I can hop in real quick.
Awesome.
Hey guys, sorry I don't have my video on. I'm walking through the mall right now. I had to take my brother to get a new phone. But if you guys don't know me, I'm TJ Vogel. I run TNT Property Solutions with my dad. We've been fortune builders for I think like 4 years now, almost 4 years. And we've actually partnered with John and Laura in the past, and some other fortune builders as well. But currently, we are actually, I'm supposed to be closing on a property this week. I'm working with a interesting lender. I don't know if anybody has ever used fix and flip loans, but one of my partners found this fix and flip loans. It's a interesting process. Basically, you put $2,500 down, and you get the money back at closing, and they do 100% of the rehab with 80% loan to value. So we just have to come up with 20%, but their process has been a drag and a half. We have had to extend our closing twice now, and I'm not super confident that we're going to close this week with them. But one of the things that I was looking for, I actually reached out to Laura today on, they're struggling finding an appraiser, and they need a AMC certified appraiser. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of that before. This is the first time I've ever heard of it, but it's some kind of, accreditation for certain appraisers that this loan has to be appraised by that kind of appraiser. So I don't know if anybody has heard of that before, if anybody might have some. Go ahead.
I know you might want to maybe separately reach out to Chris, because I know Chris has done multiple loans through fix and flip.
Oh, okay, sweet. Yeah, because at first when I started working with them, I was real worried that it was a scam. Like as soon as we sent them the money, we didn't hear back from them for a week. So I was worried that they were just going to run off with our money. And so I'll definitely reach out to Chris because I wanted to talk a little bit more just about the company too, because so far we haven't had the best luck with them, but I like their rates and I like their process. I mean, shoot, putting $2,500 down and just having to come up with a down payment, you know, the 20%, that's not too bad. So even at 10%, I really don't mind, because this one we were going to do actually turn it into a long-term rental with an added efficiency unit on it and Airbnb out the efficiency.
Right.
So
Okay, yeah, I think if I recall, I think he's had pretty good luck with them, but I feel like maybe a recent loan, they might have not done well for him on.
Chris is
but-
on here. I don't know if he's available to talk because I know he multitask a lot. It's so I don't know if Chris can unmute or not, but if not, just reach out to him.
okay. Yeah, I'll definitely do.
Cool.
Closes and we can move on to the next one.
Yeah.
You guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sorry.
I mean,
Yeah,
cut
but
in and out a little
hoping this
bit,
one
but yeah.
closes and moving on to the next.
Cool.
Awesome. Where's your property? Where are you working? Like the St. Pete area?
This one, yeah, this one's a South St. Pete property. It actually it was bought by an investor not too long ago, and I don't know the full story behind it, but it has some fire damage. So obviously, you know, a little bit of discount on that. And for the neighborhood that it is, it's definitely under market value. We want to keep it as a long term because the ARV really isn't there yet in the neighborhood. But yeah, I'm almost wondering if the contract or the investor who had it originally wasn't the one who started the fire in it. Then he's getting out and getting his insurance money and gonna sell the house. But
You never know. You honestly
yeah,
really just
you never
don't.
know. But it's perfect because where the fire is was an addition in the house, and there's some space for extra build out to be done over there. So all the walls that we have to replace for the fire, we can use to make a bigger space for the efficiency unit. So if it comes through, then it's going to be a really nice property. And again, we're gonna have that guaranteed long-term rental. So that's, you know, guaranteed to pay the mortgage. And then we're going to play around with the Airbnb thing and see if we can't bring in some extra income.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, good luck with the closing. I hope it all works out, and you'll be looking forward to like updates on what your experience is with the whole thing.
Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely keep you guys updated. Yeah, everybody cross your fingers for us.
Always, for everybody in this group, you know, on all deals, we always want to see everybody come out with wins and rising tides lifting all ships. And yeah, cool. Well, thanks,
Remember
TJ.
that. Thanks, guys.
Anybody else have anything that they want to share or where they're at this moment?
Yeah, I'll share.
Steve.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
So my name is Steve Sonderson. I am work with Shot Home Solutions. We're based in Orlando, Florida. We've been in Fortune Builders right now. Things are going on 4 years. We currently have one rental property in Atlanta that we have on our portfolio, and we've done 2 full rehabs up to this point. 2 of them was a joint venture with Sherry Harris, another Fortune Builder student that's helped out with a lot of cool things. So we're currently under contract in our first wholesale deal. So this is pretty cool. It was a family friend that reached out to us, said, "Hey, I see you sharing stuff on Facebook. What exactly do you do?" My dad needs some help with his property. His dad just lost his mother a couple of years ago, and dad just pretty much kind of went off the rails and wasn't really sure what was going on, and he just pretty much just stopped paying the mortgage.
Oh my gosh.
And he didn't really have an explanation why, you know, but we was able to kind of go in and kind of help save the process. So it's kind of an interesting process. So I'm like, well, we need to find out is it already done, foreclosures going on for auction, or kind of where it is in the process. And we miraculously got to him the day before it actually had a sell date. So once we were able to call the the lawyer that's assigned to the case
Mhm.
and kind of walk them through the process of exactly what was happening. It's like, hey, listen, he's in a bad place. He's a veteran. He's having some mental illness that he's trying to work through. And they did provide some compassion to help this kind of like save the property and let us kind of pay to get the mortgage caught up to kind of start working the deal from there. Because at that point, we couldn't get it. There's really nothing we can do from that point on. So they were pretty cool about kind of getting that back to us, which I think, so this is a key lesson I learned there. So I called myself to the clerk's office and kind of walked them through what was happening and what we wanted to do. And pretty much she told me there's nothing you can do. It's too late. Sorry. So she's like, you can call this lawyer that's assigned to the case. We called the lawyer and kind of explained to her, and they were both got to tell me who could make the decision here. So key learning, the lawyer told me, don't ask for anything. Tell them what you're doing. Don't ask them to help you because they're not there to help you.
That is
So she's like,
that is a very big takeaway.
yeah, no. So I literally wrote down exactly what she told me to say, and I called back with the exact same. It's a different lady I spoke to, and I said, hey, this is what we're doing. This is how much we have. Just tell me where I need to send the money to. This is the process. This is what we want to do right now, and I can get this money to you like ASAP. And literally, okay, no problem. Thank you for calling. Here's the information. Chase, Manhattan, so and so. And I literally, got in my car and rode up to the bank and got it wrapped up. So it's kind of interesting. So I should have called the lawyer back to thank her, but that was interesting because I was trying to ask for sympathy. She's like, yeah, no, we don't do that. But when I called back and said, this is what I need from you and this is what we're doing, tell me where to send it. And she was like, okay, cool, no problem. I'll give you the address. So I think that was a key takeaway for me.
That is a huge takeaway. I mean, who would have thought? And just talking to a different person, giving you a different perspective on like, this is how you handle this. And then you talk to just like somebody else and they're like, all right, yeah, we're fine. That is a huge.
Yeah.
Is this the property in Atlanta? Is that where that's at?
This is the property in Atlanta. So now we worked out, got the property under contract. So I started talking to Sherry, who gives me some legal advice. I know she's a paralegal, and she voiced some concerns to me about the dad's mental state and recommended getting a power of attorney, because if he signs over the contract in this state and we know that he might be having some issues, that can all kind of backfire, and especially from a wholesale perspective. So that kind of slowed the process down a little bit. But we did take a partner, did talk to the son. He went through, got the process done, got the power of attorney signed over, and then we was able to go back and we had a verbal agreement initially, and then we went back and signed the actual contract last week. And
that is a good point. That was a good point that she brought up, because when you come down to like the mental state of somebody and what they're actually doing, that was wise words.
Because I was just feeling a little uncomfortable, because when I spoke to the dad, I actually spoke to him and he was like, I'll sign anything you want me to sign. Send me the paperwork, whatever you want me to sign. You want to come take the house
He just
tomorrow?
wanted this gone from his life.
Yeah. And I was like, man, this almost seems, I understand we're here to help him, but it felt a little, I even felt a little even predatory. I feel like, is he really understanding what I'm saying? He's like, just send me what you want me to sign. I'll sign whatever. And I wasn't feeling good about that. So that's why I took that partnership to go. I want to make sure, obviously, I know he wants to move on, but I don't want this to be something that kind of backfires on my company at any point, or again, it's a family friend that we're kind of working with. I don't want to feel like, hey.
So at this point in the wholesale, because I've never done a wholesale myself, so I'm very interested in it. I know there are other people that have on this call that have done that, and it's very familiar to them. So where are you, like, do you have a buyer's list in Atlanta that you're working with to?
We do. So we partnered with Joanna Anderson. So she was kind of, because my first wholesale deal. So I was like, I need to take a partner on this one. And I guess apparently I'm out of coaching calls at Fortune Bills. I'm like, oh, so I can't talk to anybody?
Right. Nobody, anybody help give me a hand here?
No,
I got like 30
I'll
connections
always
in
give you a
Atlanta.
hand. I'm sure there's somebody on this call.
Yeah, exactly. So let me reach out to my peers in Fortune Builders. So Joanna got me set. She gave me a smack on the hand for putting down the money without getting a contract. She's like, you should not have done that, right? Because now if they walked away, you would have had to take a loss on it, because now you've given the money. I was like, oh, good point.
Yes.
I said, I felt like at the time, that's the only thing I could have done to save the deal, because literally we were less than 24 hours away from it not being a deal at all. So it's like, I get it, I understand it, but she gave me a couple of clauses and a couple of things I could have done before I could have had a promissory note or something signed saying, hey, this is how much we're giving over, because that would have still been able to protect us in the future. But just kind of going and paying the mortgage with no documentation and then she also walked me through, we could have put a lien on the property like a contractor as well by filing with the city. So some key learnings here. So definitely some key learnings here.
That's good to know.
In the process.
Hey, Steve, if you need any connections in Atlanta, I got about, 70.
Yes. Okay. Well, we're actually writing up our one pager right now. Me and my wife are working on that, and we're going to start marketing this week. But if you want, I wanted to kind of reach out to a couple people that I already know in Atlanta that I've kind of partnered with them, let them know that the deal was happening. I said once I get everything finalized, we'll give them like a pocket deal. But I'll definitely kind of keep that in mind as well. Send me
Well,
your
you know
information.
Zana, right? You know Zana Hilaria?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep. I know
I
Zana.
don't need to say anything else then.
So got you. So no, we're excited. I think this is part of when we went through the Fortune Builders course. It was obviously to help build their own financial stability, but also to be able to help people that in our circle. Because again, the biggest difference that I was able to do as to my friend that's not in the business able to do, I had the resources already available and the process already in place to be able to kind of make it happen. So I think I was excited to be able to use the tools in place to actually be able to help somebody that we care about. So I'm excited to kind of help get this property off of their debt, off of their world, and kind of help close the deal for us in our business. But it felt good to know I was helping somebody that really needed the help for sure.
That is awesome. That is, I mean, that's the reason we do. I mean, yes, obviously we all got in this too, like do things for our own families, but that story right there is beautiful. And really what you can do for people that you know, but also don't know that people get in situations that they didn't ask to become part of. Like they didn't necessarily be like, I hope I lose my house one day, or I get behind on my mortgage, or that XYZ happens in my life. But, that's a burden that they sleep with every night. And if we, as, our group and stuff can help people get out of that situation, that's life-changing, life-altering. And that's really cool that you're able to do that for somebody that and just anybody that does it for anybody they even don't. I mean, it's just true. It's a changing life moment. So that's very cool. That's very cool that you got to have your first wholesale deal and walk through it. And we're excited to hear how that works out. Do you know, what are you looking at as far as what was the purchase and what's the ARV?
Yeah. So the ARV is a little over 250, 275 once it's fully remodeled, rehab. We got it for a steal. We got it for 50,000 is what we have it on the contract for. And we're looking, I was looking to market initially for 75 to 80K based on the amount of work that it needs. And Joanna gave me another slap on the wrist. She's like, no, you need to list it for at least 100,000 at a minimum. I was like, the place is a complete dump. There's stuff everywhere. She's like, just the land alone, because it's on right around a little over an acre of land.
Oh, wow.
So when it's all said and done, our hopes is to walk away with somewhere between 30 and 50,000 on this one for a wholesale deal. So so we're excited about it. So we've been kind of taking our time to make sure we got all of our I's dotted and T's crossed. So because I feel like it's going to go pretty quick once we put it on the market. I just want to make sure we got all of our ducks in a row once we're ready to kind of go to take it to market.
That's awesome. And then after you get this one going, I'm sure the next ones will be so much faster. It's the first one that takes all that time, right?
Yeah.
You have to put all that due diligence in, all the I's and T's and all that good stuff to make sure everything is set up the way that it needs to be. But the next one, you'll be like, oh, I know what I'm doing here. And this sounds like it was a complicated wholesale. It wasn't.
Oh my gosh.
I
love to have it complicated up front though, because that's where the key learnings come from. Because I guess if the first one was easy, it's all these moving parts between the power of attorney, the bank, and it's it was interesting, but I think we're excited for the challenge, and we're excited to keep going forward for sure.
That is really, really cool. Very cool. And Sherry, I know you're your partner. If anybody on the call doesn't know Sherry Harris already, she's an awesome person to talk to you about if you want to set up entities. We've set up an entity with her for a company that we have, and she's good and she knows her stuff and she can get it done efficiently.
Yes.
Awesome.
And usually for a really good price. So I think she offers a pretty good price for what she does.
I agree. I 100% agree. Cool.
If you want to throw a bone to that lawyer, you can look her up on Google and give her a good review.
Yeah, that's an idea. We should do that for sure. We put that in my notes.
Google reviews they're key. So they're key. I use them often. So that's a good idea, Bob. If you want to,
Yeah, great idea.
Easy thing to kind of boost somebody's business. Thanks for sharing, Steve. And I'm looking.
No problem. Thank you again.
And potentially, I don't know if I'm going to Orlando yet this weekend or not, or this week or not for the boot camp, but maybe we'll see. Or maybe
I'll be around. You let me know. We'll catch up for sure.
Cool. Awesome. Anybody else want to chime in, or is anybody else going to any of the boot camps this week in Orlando? Anybody?
No more free time at work, so Gotta work.
So your house. I hear ya. Mine's still up in the air. I may be a part of the Crush It crew. I may not. It's kind of just an ongoing, not sure kind of thing. Apparently, if you've not, I do want to put a plug in for the Crush It crew. And I do think that if you've never done it and you do have the opportunity to do it, it's fun. I've done it once. It was 3 years ago in Dallas. It's just cool to experience the Fortune Builders event from a different lens. And you just kind of bond with your whole little Crush It crew team. It's not overly complicated. You are just there to kind of monitor, give people high fives, and it's not complicated. But it's just kind of cool to sit there and you like eat lunch and stuff with there's JD or Paul or the different presenters, and you get a kind of a back end scene of like kind of just, I mean, they're just obviously normal people like the rest of us, and but just hearing their conversations and getting to be a part of, I was part of the rehab Crush It crew group in Dallas, and I got to ride on the bus with JD for a while and just got to know him as a person for a little bit. I didn't really talk to him about his business at all. I learned he's a big Star Wars fan and all these other things. So it's a cool experience. And so that's why when someone or another fortune builder asked me if I was free, if I would do it again, because they need some people, I was like, I'd do that again in a heartbeat. It's just it's that's all I can say. It's cool. It's a fun experience. So
Is that March of 2019 that you did that?
no, it would have been October of
Okay.
2019. Yes, it was October.
I did the March one, so that would have been weird.
That would have been funny, yes. But it was October. It was in the fall. So so what do you think about your experience when you did Crush It Crew?
I haven't done it. I
you
actually
haven't done
thought
the Crush
about
It
it,
Crew.
and
Oh, you were
I've
just
gotten the
at the-
emails for it. I just haven't done it. The time is freaking not in my favor.
Yeah, understandable. You're a little busy. You're a busy guy. So totally understand. But
I must be on the naughty list because I didn't get an invite.
Well, I didn't get this time around. John got some email about it. I don't know. I didn't get one, but now that like once you've actually done one, they kind of like other people are like, they seek you out. So they're like, they'll come do it. I think they'll come do it. So, but it's cool.
It's like jury duty.
It is a little tricky. Something like that.
Oh.
Hey, Alice, how are you? Glad you jumped on. So Alice is on, Jerry's assistant, and
Yeah, she's on, but I think she's talking to somebody else.
oh yeah, okay. But well, is there anybody else that has anything? Because I don't want to, take your time too much. I am gonna next month or October, I'm gonna have another person come in and talk more specifically on short-term rentals. Like again, in this market, they're going to a national convention. So give us some more insight on that at the moment. And if there's ever anybody that you're like, hey, I'd really love to hear from at this point in time, just let me know. And then I can see who I potentially know that can come on and speak to the group about that specific topic, whether it's taxes, insurance, accounting. I mean, some of that stuff's not fun. I don't find the math part of it fun, like the accounting part, but it's necessary in this business. So there's things that we can all help each other out and really know how to like maximize what we're doing and not, and really keeping as much as we can for ourselves and not giving it away to unnecessary taxes or whatever, or paying too much for insurance or whatever it is. Because insurance in Florida right now is a big deal. There's a lot of like cancellations of insurance in Florida. And then obviously Bob's dealing with even like wind mitigation and is interesting in Florida, flood insurance. So any of those topics or anything else you can think of, just let me know. And then I'll see if we can get somebody on here to speak about them. Or if any of you want to like just talk about a specific topic, any of these meetings, that it's something that you feel passionate about, or you feel like, hey, I would really like to get deeper and let people know like XYZ about whether it's a project or whether it's something that you're focused on. I would love to have any of y'all as, be the guest host or speaker on that call. So just let me know. It was great seeing you all this evening and looking forward to the next one. If anybody doesn't have anything else, then
Well,
Great.
if anybody's going to be in Orlando this week, definitely look me up. So I will be at the boot camp. I was going back and forth whether I should go or not. Then I'm like, I looked it up the address from where I live on Google Maps, and it says like 33 minutes away. I'm like, I really have no excuse. So
You don't.
so
At that point, you have
I
to
have nothing
go.
really. There's nothing that I could say. I'm like, it's 33 minutes away from my house. So I'm like, so I would definitely be there for at least the wholesaling boot camp for sure. Wholesale acquisitions.
Awesome. Yes. And if I'm there, I'll definitely, we're going to meet up. Definitely for sure.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
See you,
All
everybody.
right.
See ya.
Bye,
Thanks,
y'all.
Laura. John.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Laura.